This week's Safety Toolbox talk is primarily on suspended rooftop rigging. So we're going to head up on top of the roof of this structure and take a look at that rigging in a moment. But also included in our pre-construction meetings for suspended work is falling object protection at these buildings for pedestrians and so on and so forth. That would also include all these barricades on the backside alleyways, and then also taking into consideration any overhead power lines. These are all considered hazards, and they're all considered needing protection prior to us doing our rooftop rigging and swinging on the side of buildings. So now we're up on top of the roof. We came through this hatch, and in regard to rooftop rigging, we need to have all of our material delivered, and sometimes, depending on how we want to get that material up here, especially the counterweights, it comes through this hatch, through a set of series of staircases and so on and so forth, and then we walk these roof systems, setting up controlled access zones such as this flagging to keep us off the perimeters of the building. And anytime we go to the outside of this flagging, we're tied off going up on leading edge. But here's a typical rooftop system for suspended scaffold setup. And looking at this system right here, it's composed of scaffold systems and this long I-beam right here. The support mechanism is this piece right here. And the distance from here to the very end is called your fulcrum point. So your fulcrum point might be 3 feet, and it might be carrying about a 1,000-pound load on that swing stage. The distance from your fulcrum point to your counterweights could be as much as 13 feet. So we have a counterweight calculation that we use as far as the fulcrum point times the load divided by the 13 feet left of the flange member, and that gives us the volume of weights on the back of our flanged member so that this thing does not tip forward. Now also notice there's a mechanical means here so that these counterweights can't come off, a shackle with 3 fist grips and a tie back perpendicular to a 5,000-pound anchor point in the back. That is a requirement per OSHA. It's a requirement per the City of Chicago Scaffold Ordinance. And then also notice the power line and the lifelines and how they're protected over the 90-degree angle. A lot of these roof systems are very complex. None of them are all that user-friendly typically. So when we're looking at roofs in our pre-construction meeting, sometimes we Google Earth the top of that building to get vision of what systems we may want to use, and then put a material rec together, bring the product out here, and here's one of our tiebacks here connected to a 5,000-pound engineered system, annually inspected by the owner of these buildings. So just to help us all a little bit on what we're doing on our projects as far as rooftop suspended scaffold setup. This is a typical system that you would see on a user-friendly roof system. Thank you, and let's have a safe week.